Hi YouTube, welcome back. So some of you may have noticed these 4x4s behind me going, what is he gonna do with those? Well, here's the plan. I think I mentioned in the last video I want to start working on this end. What I'm gonna do is from this level up, I'm gonna put a post here, which is 36 inches out, and so one post all the way up to the ceiling, and another across this way and across this way. This is going to be a loft strong enough that if you want to use it as a bed, it can be, but probably going to end up being mostly storage. Underneath it is going to be a bed lounge type thing, and so, you know, part-time couch, part-time lounge. First I got to get the wood up on the wall, and I'm just putting up the thin veneer because we got lots of ways to hold things up, and I've got those are cedar, so they look really nice. They got a little bit of a nice smell to them. I've got some cedar 2x4s too, so that they'll look nice. But the first step in this whole process is, you can see just how rough this is. So I'm going to take a belt sander to it and sand them all down, get them smooth on all the sides. We'll see which one. I think this is going to be the upright, but maybe that one. It's got character with the knots, and she does like, you know, to have the wood have the character, so knots are not a problem. So let me get set up to use the belt sander on this and smooth them out. So I'm pretty sure this is gonna get dusty. I've got an old, I don't know, I think it's a 60 grit belt on the sander here, and I can get more, but I just really want to just take this down and smooth it out a little bit, get rid of a lot of the little rough spots, and then I can always get another disc or a dish or belt, and I've got the palm sander. First thing I did was put this little stop block here. There's nothing like putting a belt sander on a piece of wood, sanding it, and all of a sudden have it shoot that way, especially if you're standing at the end. It's not fun. So let me get sanding these down, and then I can go from there. And just that quick, it goes from really rough like this to smoothed out. Obviously I got to do a little bit more, but that's why it's nice having a belt sander. That was about 2 minutes worth of work to get that smooth like that. That's just one side. But not to go on and on about Makitas, but this is a 8-foot 4x4, and the cord that came with this is 16 feet long. I have never seen a power tool or plug-in power tool that had a cord that long. I mean, I've added longer cords, but that came from the factory that way. Amazing. And I don't even know if they make this one anymore. I've had this thing for, I don't know, 25 years. So back to work. So I remember I said it was going to get dusty. There is a bag that can fit over that, but that got ovaled. But yeah, a little dusty, but doing it outside with a little bit of a breeze, and I'm keeping my head in front of it, so dust is going that way, so I'm not breathing in a whole lot of that dust because that gets nasty. So now on to the next step. To start with, on this loft, I put up, we're going to be 2 feet down to the edge here. So I just put a regular pine 2x4 on the 2 walls. And then, because we're doing everything looking cedar, is I put a cedar 2x4 here and in that corner. Then I took the darker of the 2 4x4s and put it here. So this is 3 feet out this way and 56 inches this way. So the next thing is to cut a piece here and a piece there. And so I'm cutting those 56 and 36. Now, the measurements in here is to the outside edge, and we will cover that in a moment. All right, so I measured from either end. Here's the 36, here's the 56, and then took my square and drew a line. Then I rotated it and drew a line on the next side. I went all the way around, making sure all the lines all the way lined up. Then I took my circular saw and cut through one side. Now I could flip it over and cut through the other side, but there's always a chance that I'm going to be off a little bit, and I don't want that. So what I'm doing is I get to this point, is I can take my saw, get it lined up in the hole, and go across like that, and then the third time we'll cut that little bit, and I end up with, I already did that long one, I end up with a cut like that. All pretty much matches up. And so let me get this cut, and I'll show you what we do next. So as you can see, this comes out as far, and what I'm going to do, because it would look really ugly if I just nailed it together, what I'm going to do is do 2 half lap joints. This one is going to come all the way through so you can see the end, and the other one is going to meet up to it. So this is going to be a pretty joint. Now you think, all right, half lap, what's that mean? Well, it means I'm cutting a groove in here halfway through, and I'm cutting another groove on the other one halfway through, so they lap over each other. Now, some might think that that's going to be, it's going to weaken it, but keep in mind, force is down. It's still going to be a 4x4, and these joints are strong, and you can find these things in a couple 100-year-old barns. So I've got to figure out and lay out where it's going to be here, and also on the 2 other pieces. Luckily, I've got those the cutoffs that I can use to make sure when I get things set up that they're set up exactly right. So let me get going doing that. These are 4x4s, and of course a normal 4x4 is 3.5 by 3.5. This is 3 5/8 by 3 5/8. So, half of that is what I need, and that would be an inch and 3/4 is half of 3.5. I got 1 more 1/8, so I got to add a 1/16 to an inch and 3/4. So I drew a line on my scrap piece, adjusted my saw down, and then tried a practice cut on these two. I'm going to make another couple on that. If these match up, which they look like they're going to do pretty close, looks like it's just like a whisker off. Maybe not. But I am going to make a couple more passes on these and see how they match up. If they match up right, then I will do the real pieces. So here we go. I'll make a few more cuts to see how that works. Alright, so by looking at this, I need to lower that by just a half a blade so that matches up. So let me do that and see if I can dial this in. So I'm going to say that's pretty good. If I need to, I can clean it up with a knife and just shave it down. So the next step is doing that for real. And the first thing I did, measured where it's going to be, and then I laid the piece that's going across it on the line, took a knife and scored the wood on either side. Why did I do that? To prevent some of this tear out. So hopefully that should be it. Now I gotta take the saw and make some multiple cuts. Being very careful to leave the line. I can sneak up closer to the line, but I can't take it back. All right, I got lucky because it's just the right spot. Very carefully along each line, and now I just hack through. So that got most of it out. Now I could take a chisel Clean this up nice. Right now I'm just sort of roughing it out. And I'll go, I've got some big chisels over in the bus, I'll go get them. And there's the one going through this way. Now I got to do halfway down this way the other one. Same process, just less wood to take out. I take my little test piece and stick it in there, and that's pretty close. Like I said, after I clean this up with a chisel, we should be good. So there's the post. And like I said, you know, you think, ooh, how strong can that be with that little piece right there? But the wood's going to be resting on this, and the force being down, that's fine. Basically, this part, and it's going to be attached to the rest of it. So I'm replacing the wood I took out with the wood from those two pieces. So now I got to cut the ends of those to match up with this. What's sort of nice is setting this up, is I can take the piece, decide which end I want to show and where I want to cut, and I can take my knife and just score along the edge where I'm cutting. And that gives me the outline of what I've got to cut out. So same process, and do this, and then we got the third member of this. So you'll notice when I get ready to install this, that these beams sit higher than this back 2x4. The plywood for the bed or storage or whatever's going to end up here is going to sit on top of this. So I want it supported on all sides. Obviously, long side, short side, long side out here. So what I'm going to do is take the two beams and cut a 3/4 inch deep by 3/4 inch wide corner off, so the plywood will hang over 3/4 of an inch and be held up that way. So what I've got to do is, and we're gonna do that. We'll go get the table saw set up and do it on that. Now, setting the table saw up for those cuts, I can use the scale here, set it for 3/4 of an inch, and this, yeah, here's a scrap piece of 3/4 inch, fits in there just right. Actually, I'm just a hair off, a little hair tight. There we go. And to set the height of the blade, I can just put the piece of 3/4 inch there and look, and you get the tooth just at that height. So you want to get one tooth right at the very top, so you get a nice accurate cut, or a nice accurate measurement. 3/4 inch piece works great for that. So now I'm gonna cut, and I marked the corners I'm cutting with a piece of blue tape, just so that I don't mess up and flip it the wrong way. we go. Nice little ledge for the plywood to sit on, and now do the other one and we'll get this thing installed.
Those girls across the street.
All right, time to assemble this. And I put the post in. I haven't anchored it yet. One thing that's handy is you can go and buy these rubber mallets. You can get the black ones, the white ones. Buy the white ones. The black ones, if you hit it, strike it at a little bit of a weird angle, you can leave a black smudge, which there are a couple of them because that's what we had. Because I kept forgetting to bring this one over from the bus. The white ones, when you hit it, they don't leave a mark. So that's a good thing. All right, so the way this all goes together is get this lined up. Just tap it in, get it all, and I do leave that just a little proud so that I like the look of that. And then this one goes over here. And the reason I didn't anchor this is so that I can get it. I'd marked the ceiling where I thought it was supposed to be, but this way I can fine adjust it. There we go. So I haven't decided. I don't really want to put screws in here. I don't think that'll look nice. And I only got that piece in here, so I don't really want to try to screw that in there. So I'm thinking next trip to, or I'm attaching it with pocket screws here, and same with around the ceiling and down. I'm thinking the next time I go to Lowe's or Home Depot, I will buy some dowels, and we'll just drill a couple of and put a couple of dowels into here and then into here, and that'll dowel it all together. It'll look nice with the like pine dowels contrasting with the wood. Well, let me get this screwed together, and then we'll get a piece of plywood cut for up here. And I'm not going to install that plywood yet. I'm going to get it cut, get it all set, but I got work to do under here. And it'd be easier if I could stand up for a while. So let me get going on that.